and welcome to Flappity Flap Podcast with your hosts, Brandon and Sarah.
Hello.
Are you making fun of me?
I think talking gets my phlegm going.
Oh.
I spend pretty much like all day not talking.
Oh, okay.
But then once I start, it's like...
Well, you were recording earlier. You were like yelling. I had my headphones on. I wasn't trying to listen to you, but I could hear...
A little bit yelling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like the other day when you told me you were going to record, but then I think it like takes you a few minutes to kind of set up and get comfortable. And then I just suddenly like heard you doing something that was like a yell or a strangled yell. And then I was like, are you okay? And then you didn't say anything. So I opened my door and I was like, are you okay? And you were like, yeah, I'm just recording.
Yeah, I responded to you, but I don't think you could hear me through the door.
Okay. Yeah. I just thought I better check in case he's choking because I might just assume that you're recording, but you might be choking to death.
Thanks.
So yeah.
Thanks for checking.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm good. As you can tell.
Yeah. So death, that's a nice segue into our topic that I found, which is did you hear about the 82-year-old woman who was pronounced dead in a New York nursing home, but found to be breathing 3 hours later?
What?
Yeah. I thought it said a funeral home. Hold on. Okay.
Pronounced dead, like they checked her pulse and she just wasn't.
Let's see. So she was pronounced dead at Water's Edge Rehab and Nursing Center. So they nicely put that in the article so you don't take your family members there. At Port Jefferson on Long Island at 11:15 a.m. Saturday. Her name was not released. She was taken to the O.B. Davis Funeral Homes. And anyway, that all doesn't really matter. She was discovered to be breathing at 2:09 p.m. So it took the funeral home people from 1:30 to 2:09, so 40 minutes to figure out she was breathing. But the whole time in transit, like, I don't know if I assume they just transport her by ambulance and don't immediately put her in a body bag or something. I assume body bags are like for like crime scenes and, possible like hygienic. What am I trying to say?
I don't know.
Okay, cool. Anyway, I mean, I hope they don't put her in a body bag and then she's in there just like, and I don't know what alive means. It just said she was taken to a hospital, no update on her condition. But she was alive enough.
Well, can't your heart rate, can't your pulse drop really, really far down to where they might not notice if they don't check your pulse long enough?
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe she had a really weak pulse, so they just couldn't tell.
But like, yeah, I think you can have like a really weak pulse, but like they found her to be breathing. Like that's like the most visible sign.
Is she in
that
a
you're
coma
alive.
Or like what?
They're not saying. I mean, and also if she's in a coma but medically still alive, they take her to a hospital. And they might not like do resuscitative type measures. It might just be like depending on what her paperwork says, like her healthcare directive and stuff, that they just let her go. But I think they still take measures until she's actually dead. And this place, I don't know. They just, the funeral home said, out of respect for the privacy of the family, we are not in a position to comment. But it's like, yeah, they probably don't want to comment until they know the full facts of the matter. So it was the nursing home that declared her dead, I guess, and then sent her to the funeral home.
Huh.
I mean, I guess it's kind of horrible. It seems like less of a travesty when you're that old. Like how is it that you...
it's a little scary to be alive and to have idiots pronouncing you dead. Like it reminds me of those like bells they used to have. They'd have a string with a bell attached to it, just in case the person who they buried wasn't actually dead.
So they put it in the coffin with you, and then when you're 6 feet under soil, you're supposed to be able to hear a bell ringing?
No, there's a string going from the coffin into the ground to a bell that's up on the like tombstone or something.
I mean, I would have said that should be unnecessary if you are doing the death pronouncement properly, but now maybe that's going to be a thing that's going to come back, a practice that's going to come back.
I doubt it. I think it was probably just somebody too hasty.
Let me tell you why.
What?
Because then it links to another story that was only a few days before. Let's see, February 2nd. Yeah, this is a different story. Woman sent to Iowa funeral home was alive. This is in a different state.
What the hell?
Yeah. So, a continuing care home in suburban Des Moines, Iowa, has been fined $10,000 after a funeral home discovered a woman sent to it in a body bag was still alive.
Oh, Iowa.
What I
just stick to corn. Leave the healthcare to the professionals.
The thing is, like, having.
I'm joking, of course.
Yeah. Well, they do make pretty good corn, and corn syrup, and corn-related products,
and butter. The land of fried butter.
Oh, not just butter, but the
they were
enhanced version.
I think they were the first ones to do fried butter at a fair.
Well, damn it, Iowa, we have you to thank. You know, keep America fat.
Keep America fat again.
Make America fat again.
Make America fat still.
Okay, so this was in January. It's just, I think, recently coming out in the news. 66. Okay, that's like 20 years younger. Like, I'm not saying that it's okay to just like half-ass the death pronouncement on an 80-something-year-old woman, but you kind of get like if she was on the edge of death. Because
then you're potentially facing lawsuits.
No, I'm not saying, I'm not encouraging like, okay, that's fine. Like it's not like a rounding up kind of like she's closer to death than life, so we call it death. I'm just saying I think it's more understandable if someone's in their 80s and like maybe very frail and decrepit, but still like you're supposed to have nurses on. Okay, actually I don't remember because I know about these facilities somewhat just from working in like defense, defending these facilities. And like, it's not like me going like, I'm going to defend these hard done by facilities. Like it's just where I ended up, just to be clear. But it is a lot of times it is about the numbers and like getting people. So I just wonder if, and like, I think if you're on like Medicare, it's only like reimbursed like for 100 days. And then you have this like,
so you think they're knowingly doing this?
I'm not saying knowingly, but maybe it's just a little more in their interest to like get literally like get the bodies out, and get other bodies in. That's a bed, she's on her way out. Okay, she looks like she's basically dead. She'll probably just finish off on the ambulance ride to the funeral home.
Wow.
I don't really think that, but it's kind of a funny idea that.
Is it a funny idea?
You know what I mean? Like it's something that SNL would like write a skit about where, like if it's like a 20-minute ride, she'll be done, by like the time she gets to the funeral home.
Like that catapult toilet or whatever.
Exactly.
What was that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're having like a heart attack and you're on the toilet,
and the toilet it
senses
bed.
You and it launches you onto the bed with like
and drops
an
a book
intelligent
on
book. But then like your pants are down.
And there's poop all over you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was pretty fucking funny.
That was a good skit.
That was a good skit. Yeah.
Sometimes SNL can do good.
Yeah. It's anyway, so 66 is a lot younger, and the thing is like you think
than 86? Yes.
Than 82. Yeah, Abe's 82 or something. So let me see. There are care homes which are like not as medical as like skilled nursing facilities. Like if they came from like a skilled nursing facility and were declared dead and they weren't, that's really naughty because like you have more like registered nurses at a skilled nursing facility, and whereas like in an assisted living you have a lot of caregivers, like they're like certified nursing assistants. They're not nurses. They're really lowly paid.
Oh yeah,
low paid.
Yeah, they're very low paid.
A lot of times they are like kind of newly immigrant people who are holding down one or two other jobs.
Or they're just low skill.
Yeah, they might be kept under certain hours, that kind of bullshit where they don't
fresh out of high school or something.
But I think the person who does the pronouncement is usually like the medical director, probably with like the registered nurse on staff, and
should
or
be someone certified
a doctor.
in something.
So I just want to know, I'm so curious.
Who's pronouncing these people dead?
The fact that two of these, and I want to know, like, are they the same owner? Because a lot of the owners of these facilities are throughout the country.
Did they both happen in Des Moines, Iowa?
No, one of them was in, what was the other one in?
So why would it be the same person if it's in two different states?
No, the same, like, company.
Oh,
the same,
I see what you're saying.
Company. So one was New York.
Like a chain?
Yeah, because the ones I worked for...
Would they call it a chain, or is that just restaurants?
I don't remember.
Chain home.
Network? I don't remember what they called them. I mean, you can call it.
I think you guys get what we're talking about.
Yeah. But a lot of them are throughout the country. So, and yeah, you just know, like, what would be your pain and suffering as the person, that is transported to a funeral home? Like, how far did they get?
I'm not dead, you assholes.
Like, when they go to pump fluids in you, like, that's probably not the first thing they do. Do they wash you first, or do they get all your fluids out first?
I would hope that somebody checks you just to double check.
Okay, anyone who's played mortuary assistant, let us know what the process is, because I know you're an expert by now, and then you can tell us, like,
or if somebody out there works in a morgue.
It's like a joke, though. The funny because people play mortuary assistant, and it's like a joke. Like,
one time, I was talking on the digital artist page to other artists about sitting in your chair for too long and how it can kill you. And I saw this video of a guy dying in his chair while he was playing a video game for too long.
You saw him die?
He died. I didn't see him die.
Or you knew he was sitting there and he was dead?
Of a dead man sitting in a chair, and he had rigor mortis. And I was like, he got rigor mortis sitting up, and some expert in the field had to come at me, because I think it was on Facebook. So they were like, "You're an idiot," in typical Facebook fashion. "You're a stupid idiot. You don't know anything."
You didn't go to medical school as an artist, and you don't know.
Because I didn't know everybody's body got rigor mortis after dying. I didn't know it was just like all people, because I don't work with dead people.
Oh.
But they were like, yeah, everybody gets it.
Oh, okay.
But after they die. And I said, well, I didn't realize you could get it that quickly after dying, where it would hold you upright in your chair.
Well, yeah, I feel like the moment that you
expired... He was
sitting
upright with his arms on the table.
I feel like the moment you expired, you would, like, gravity would take... Like, okay, if I just completely relax like this...
Yeah, you would fall over or something. It's really weird how he was...
My neck is... I don't even know how far my head could go.
I mean, he might have been looking down,
and
but...
I start to slouch.
But he was sitting... All right. Okay, we get it. We get it.
I feel like I could...
She's enacting the entire process.
Of course, I can't completely relax like a corpse would.
Ow,
but, you okay?
Yeah, my jaw popped.
It did. I heard it. They heard it. But I feel like in this position, because my weight is kind of distributed through my buttocks and my legs are kind of out, I feel like I would just tilt forward.
Yeah,
and
you'd probably flop onto the table. But anyway.
I'm sorry. I don't know why that made me laugh. Flop like a fish. I'm just curious, like, because I just was saying, like, how, especially in, like, an internet cafe, because that's where he was.
I think so. I think he was in China.
A little more confined to your space and maybe a little more uncomfortable. So I just feel like he'd go, like, I'm on a wide chair. It's probably going to hold me. Like, I just feel like he'd fall, but clearly he didn't. Yeah, I don't know how long, maybe because this woman hadn't developed rigor mortis, they were like, she's still pretty mushy. Like, why? Oh, fuck, she's breathing, Well, I mean, I guess your skin stays mushy, but...
Well, I think when they, like, would move her, they probably took her clothes off and were like, she's still pink.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there are many stages in the process when they would realize, like, she's not dead.
Yeah.
You'd see her breathing, for example. She would be, like, floppy as you're moving her from table to table.
We can actually bend her legs to take her clothes off. That's not normal.
Yeah.
I mean, she's supposedly been dead for at least 40 minutes. Weird. I mean, I do have to wonder if they just... I think also, especially since the pandemic, everyone is still short-staffed.
They're just trying to rotate
stock. Yeah. And now people like caregivers who would maybe in California make like $15 an hour.
It's bad.
Like,
I almost applied.
Now those people can go get jobs elsewhere. And so that business that made money from having, sometimes high turnover in their residents, patients, and, could keep their employees pay low, apart from like the nurses, are now having to pay more and actually just to find people, So I'm not saying it's excusable, but like, it's just more understandable that kind of thing is going to happen. That is definitely a thing that is a much higher importance level that should never, ever happen.
Yeah, because then you have to get the person back into the facility and you have wasted a trip.
Yeah.
Basically. You've wasted people's time.
And there's, even in Iowa, there's probably no like slip in the funeral home people $50 to just, you know, she won't know. She's got early onset dementia, which the 66-year-old lady did. You know, she won't know. We'll just tell her we were taking her for a ride. And, you know, but I think
that's a little scary.
Like, it's not like in the olden days, the good old days, where you could just maybe like brush it aside and put her back in the nursing home, and you'd be good.
Call it an oopsie.
Yeah.
And get on with your day.
You know, get like a mulligan on that. I'm just thinking, like, if you are a coherent person, you know, and don't have dementia, and you're 66 or 82, and this happens to you, like, what is your pain and suffering though? Like, the fear, I just wonder what procedures they put you on the cold metal table. You know, do they start opening you up to pump stuff in you? Like, when you sue the facility for doing that. But I just wonder, like, if you had to take it to trial, you know, if you have to claim pain and suffering, if you had any injuries, it would just be an interesting case to read. Like, I rode in the ambulance, you know.
She's like, I was going to play checkers that day.
Yeah.
You owe me at least $12.
You think they put you in a bag when you died? Do they put you in a bag to transfer you?
I'm assuming they didn't have her in a bag because I feel like she would suffocate and not have made it.
Yeah, that's true. That's a really good point. So they should have put her in a bag.
Jeez.
Because then she definitely would have been dead by the time.
You got problems.
I'm just kidding. This is what we do. You know, we don't
We don't
talk about these articles and then go, this is bad, you should sue. You know, this isn't like a, you know, here's how this industry needs to change. Although it really does. It does need to change. But it's just going to get more expensive. That's how it's going to change. That's the only way that there's going to be better care.
If like wages and everything else kept up. But that's a different story.
Yeah, it is a different story. That's not funny. So
that's not funny.
It's just sad. So here's another story. A Michigan man said his 6-year-old son ordered $1,000 in food from Grubhub, which I guess is like DoorDash. I'm kind of sheltered.
$1,000? What the heck?
Yeah.
So he ordered everything on the menu like 5 times?
His son ordered a virtual smorgasbord of food from several restaurants, leading to a string of unexpected deliveries. Oh my gosh.
That child needs a little bit of a beating.
Okay, so he said the food piled up quickly at his Detroit area home after he let his son use his cell phone to play a game before bed. He said the youngster instead used his father's Grubhub account to order food from one restaurant after another. 6 years old. Do you know what you're doing?
I wonder if it was actually the father and he lied about it.
Yeah, but you're still on the hook for that, right?
He might have tried to get off the hook for it, but be like, well, I'll still eat the food.
I guess the Grubhub offered the family a $1,000 gift card. And now they're considering using the family in an online promotional campaign. Fucking typical.
Because you can't parent your child?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what 6-year-old is going to go from restaurant to restaurant just ordering tons of food?
I mean, they do make it easy, but I think you have to go through
overplaying a video game, though. What child is going to say, nah, video games, no. I'm going to order a bunch of food that I'm not going to be able to eat because it's $1,000 worth.
Well, and if you know what you're doing as the kid, like, do you think your dad's not going to notice $1,000? Like, you know how Grubhub works, right? They bring the food to your door, and $1,000 worth of food, like, you're going to have staggered deliveries. They're going to keep coming to your door. You're going to hide that in your room, like stuff it under your bed, you know.
And why do you need $1,000 worth of food?
I mean, he clearly knew what he was doing. He ordered jumbo shrimp, salad, shawarma, chicken pita sandwiches, chili cheese fries, and other foods that one Grubhub driver after another delivered to the Chesterfield Township home.
Is this child obese? I don't understand how you could...
I think this is a picture of him.
I don't understand how you could think you want all that.
I don't know if this is a promotional picture or just...
Even
he just
as a 6-year-old.
looks like a regular kid. He's not obese.
Weird.
Let's see. His son ordered food from so many different places that Chase Bank sent him a fraud alert, declining a $439 order from Happy's Pizza. But Mason's $183 order of jumbo shrimp from the same restaurant went through and arrived at the family's house. $183 of jumbo shrimp. How much shrimp is that? That's a lot of money.
Idea.
I mean, shrimp's expensive, but if you're ordering from a pizza joint, that's probably not very good shrimp. That's a lot of shrimp, probably.
What the hell? What is wrong with that little kid?
It took the dad the arrival of a few orders of food for him to realize what was going on. Okay, so the mom said Mason is extremely intelligent.
Get one order and be like, what's this all about? And then see the receipt that it's your name on it and be like, I'm going to go check my son to see what the hell he's doing with my phone.
It could have been he was like in the process of checking it, thinking maybe it got erroneously delivered. And then as he's in the process of checking it, because it might take a minute, like more food is coming. And then it's like, whoa. So the mom says that the kid is extremely intelligent, has been reading since he was 2.5 years old.
Is he extremely intelligent?
Well, yeah, he wasn't sneaky enough. He didn't think ahead. He was just thinking with his stomach, which is not as intelligent as his brain, I guess.
And you're not going to be able to eat all that, especially as a 6-year-old.
But it is sort of like you have the problem solving or the maybe logic thinking, but combined with the not thinking things through of the reality. You just have that impulse, because I think kids at that age, they have impulse control, you know? Like,
issues.
Yeah. So he's just thinking like, I have this pile of food that I'll eat tonight. You're tiny. I mean, how big do you think his stomach is? Like, maybe bigger than that.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't understand the thought process. I mean, I could see myself as a child maybe calling a pizza place and being like, "Oh yeah, I'll get 2 pizzas or something." But I feel like even as a 6-year-old, I would have that power and like know where the money's coming from and be like, I'm going to get my ass beat if I order more than like 20 or 30 bucks worth of food.
Well, this is where that thing that you mentioned last time about, you know, like certain kids just haven't had a smack around the back of the head.
Yeah.
Like
upside the head.
Upside the head. Yeah. I don't think this kid's ever been smacked. And I kind of am understanding your advocacy for
some kids
corporal
need
punishment.
A smack upside the head.
Because he had no fear, clearly. Because the mom said the husband had just ordered from Grubhub. So that might have been why he was confused. He had just ordered from Grubhub.
Grub.
Is that like the Ewoks? Grub. Hey, Grubhub. Remember?
Wub.
Okay.
I don't know.
He had just ordered dinner on the app and probably left the app open. And then little Mason took the phone, hid in the basement, and proceeded to order his feast.
Oh, Mason. What the hell were you thinking?
Man, little fuck.
But they ended up, unfortunately, what do you call it? Gosh, I
would not say they benefited. I would say they got their debt paid for. It's not like they got $1,000. It's like, well, I think they did because they got fraud alert. So maybe they did net some money, and then they're going to get like a possible promotional
getting
deal.
Promotional shit for, that's.
So then you're going to have all these like copycats of parents pretending like, oh, my kid ordered $1,000. Yeah, we're not doing that
I'm
again.
surprised that's not a thing already, because there are so many scammers out there. I'm surprised people aren't already doing that en masse.
They had a talk with Mason the next morning and told him what he did was akin to stealing. I don't think he grasped that concept at first, but he's super smart, right?
Akin to stealing? I mean, it is stealing. You're using your parents' credit card to buy $1,000 of goods. That's stealing.
Well, it's
absolutely stealing.
And also the fact that they're saying how smart he is. He could read at 2.5. I don't think he really understands. You understand stealing. That's like one of the first things you learn as a kid.
It's not your money.
Yeah, you know, because as a kid, you just start grabbing stuff in the grocery store, and your parents have to take it from you and put it back on the shelf and go, no, you have to pay for that. It costs money. You don't steal.
But even that's like $5 here, $5 there, $1,000. How much food is that?
It's a lot of jumbo shrimp.
I mean, you can feed an entire family of 4 for like
you might be able to feed an army
bucks.
with that, you know? Depending on the size of the army.
So you're feeding like 10 families.
Yeah.
What the hell is wrong with this child?
Okay, so here's this might mean something to him. For his age, they took his piggy bank and they pocketed the $115 he'd gotten for his birthday in November, telling him the money would go to replenish their accounts. That didn't seem to faze him.
Because he's doing more shit. Take away his phone.
Then he found a penny on the floor and said he would start all over again with this thing. Oh, God, that kid's a sociopath. No, actually, if he was a sociopath, if they took his $115, he'd probably just kill them in their sleep. He's just, he just sounds like he might have a little lack of empathy, but maybe not. He's not old enough to be a sociopath. He needs to be
taught with a smack upside the head.
Most of the food went into the family's refrigerators, plural, so they're rich. My voice broke with emotion. He also invited some neighbors over to eat some of it. He heard of things happening like this to other parents, but not at the level. Yeah, that's a lot. He recommends making sure important apps are not readily available. So it wasn't the kid's phone; it was the dad's phone.
Yeah, you said that already.
I know. Well, you said take away his phone. I thought
take away phones.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm gonna guess that he has his own phone as well. There's definitely a.
Not at 6, and not if he's using his dad's phone.
Maybe an iPad.
You can get but I think it's easier to put like, if you give him an iPad, you can put like the child protection or make it like really locked down. And he just wasn't thinking. But I'm sure he could like change his verification to where send it to a different device or a double check, or you have to add a pin. I don't know.
I would have so many questions for that kid.
Yeah.
I mean, so many one question. What were you thinking?
Mm-hmm. I think though, yeah, he should have been spanked, but he should have been spanked by now or something. Like the fact that he's not fazed by 100, because when I was a kid, I had to save up like $100 for the Nintendo 64. I wanted it so badly. If someone had taken that money from me, and obviously I had like a specific goal. That took a long, it really didn't take that long. Like my mom would let me like do chores and then she'd give me $10. But like in my child mind.
Oh, lucky.
Yeah, but it probably took like a month or two. But to me, that was an eternity to get this thing that I wanted so badly I could taste it. I almost said I could literally taste it. I couldn't. I could taste it though, Like I don't ever remember wanting something so bad. Like if someone had taken that money and, I would have been devastated. So I just like the fact that they took his $115. I mean, it doesn't go as far as $100 did when I was a kid back in my day, but that's a lot of money still. Like he's just unfazed. What phases this boy? That means he has everything he wants.
Yeah.
That's what that tells me.
You're probably giving him too much. When I was little, I had my parents would give me $1 a week for chores.
Oh my
gosh. And I would basically just buy candy with it. I tried to save it.
That's fair.
But it just would take too long.
So like me saving any money, that was my first introduction to that. Like discipline, doing work for money. Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
I should have known. That was my first indoctrination into capitalism and labor.
Yeah.
Sucks. I'm still doing it today. But luckily I sit on my ass in front of a computer. I'm not like having to scrub floors and do dishes and fold laundry.
But definitely blowing through $1,000, that's a pretty huge deal.
Yeah.
For most people. I think most parents would be pretty pissed about that.
That's so much money. Like how do you...
Well, like I said, I mean, you could feed like 10 families with that.
Yeah.
10 big families of like 5 or 6 people.
But let's say you had a bottomless stomach for one night only.
What in the world was that child thinking? I just can't comprehend it. If I were in his shoes, I would look for a restaurant and order maybe like 2 dishes if I was really hungry.
Mm-hmm.
What is wrong with this child? What is wrong with this boy?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe because he didn't have that immediate satisfaction of having the food where he was like,
yeah.
Oh, well, I'm still hungry. It's like, you didn't eat, stupid.
I just love jumbo shrimp.
I'm so hungry. Let's do 20 orders of jumbo shrimp.
Well, I do think
and the delivery guy just walks up with a trash bag full of shrimp.
I mean, I do think that smart kids are capable of like figuring things out, but there is
causing a lot of damage.
But there is that impulse control issue. Like, do you ever watch those videos where you have the kids and you say, okay, you can have these like gummy bears, these like 10 gummy bears right now, or you can have like a bag of gummy bears in an hour, but you can't eat these gummy bears right now. And I think most of them cannot handle it because I just think it's, whether it's a learned thing or a maturity thing, like they're, you know, you grow up and you realize like, if I have more, I can like have it for like 5 meals or whatever. And I just think that it's probably a thing that people with kids actually know about, or human development scientists know about, of like, you do not have impulse control or delayed gratification.
That too, age, life experience. I mean, I think there are a lot of examples like that with children, like trading, you know, dimes for pennies. The pennies are bigger.
I totally was that kid.
I think a lot of kids were that kid at some age.
Because my mom liked to shame me that I always went for the big shiny penny as opposed to like the little valuable dime.
Well, you don't know at that age. I mean, you just see it and you go, oh, big metal is more.
Yeah, big is more. Yeah.
Because that's kind of what logic is.
Well, it's what it's what you've learned so far. Bigger is better. But I think the impulse control and delayed gratification just wasn't keeping up with this 6-year-old's like other intelligent, you know, problem solving or whatever.
Getting into the damn phone and clicking around and ordering all kinds of shit.
Well, and kids are brought up on smartphones and tablets. Like they know very early how to click stuff and like how to look for the thing that is like the red or green button that, oh, this is the button I push. And then they show pictures of the food. Shrimp. Yep. You don't even need to read, even though he could since he was 2.5. Well, they brag.
Especially if the parent has, you know, the quick order kind of thing enabled.
Yep.
I don't want to have to put it in my info every single damn time.
Yeah. So anyway, little shit. Well, we have a remedy. He just needs a good smack around the ear hole. It's like what the English people would say.
The ear hole?
Ear hole, yeah.
Oh.
I mean, don't actually do that. It can like damage your children's hearing, but you know, he clearly needs some consequences. I feel like they were stressing to say, you know, we had a talk, we told them, like, because they just know in the social media age they're just going to get shit on.
Yeah.
Fucking spoiled little brat.
Everyone like us, every elderly person like us saying,
elderly.
Discipline your children.
But you do hear stories about kids just get into shit.
It's really, to me, it's really just the amount. It all just comes down to the amount. Because if you know, if we had a kid and if he ordered like a few things, I'd be like, damn it, please don't do that.
I mean, this is...
But $1,000, I mean, god damn.
But if you just think about it as like, this is like Peanut Butter Baby 20 years later. This is Peanut Butter Baby or Peanut Butter Baby's sister if they had access to a smartphone. Like... It used to be harmless, like a jar of peanut butter, you know? So that's what, like back then, what was it? Like maybe $10?
$5.
Yeah. And this is just, you just put a more valuable thing in this little kid's hands and...
Yeah. And then they just...
The stakes are higher.
Blow away, you know, like half the cost of a used car.
Yeah. Well, he's smart. Just tell him, you know, this was part of your college fund. So, I mean, for some kids, that really upsets them. For a little brainiac.
Do you think a little 6-year-old is going to even know what college is?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They're probably already having that talk. There was a kid the other day who was
probably barely in first grade.
If he's a little prodigy, though, there was a kid the other day who graduated high school. I think he was like 12 or 14, like maybe younger. And he was like, I want to go be a neuro or astrophysicist or neuroscientist or some kind of shit.
Wow. Little genius.
Could be a little genius, little prodigy.
Wow.
You know, hopefully he'll use his powers for good instead of cleaning out his dad's bank account
on Grubhub.
Yeah. But, you know, I mean, it's probably just like the stakes are higher, but kids just get into shit. You know, you just leave them alone for 5 seconds. You're so grateful they're just being quiet. You just hand them this little thing they can play with and you just think you're safe.
You can have a nap.
But if it's quiet, fuck, you know, like worry. Basically, just don't let your guard down unless your kid is just making noise 24/7 and you know, unless they're sleeping and you're sure they're sleeping. And then, I don't know, lock them down, put them in restraints.
Wow.
Not really. All right.
I don't think that's advised.
Putting them in restraints? No, just to be clear. Anyway, I thought those were fun. Tune in next time where we may or may not have more wacky news. Right off the internet. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.